Welcome to week 6 of NFL football, and starting it off with Thursday Night Football, which is the son of a bitch, it's the Broncos. There are more Taylor Swift sightings than there were Broncos points. I'm not talking about this. And because for one, it's the Broncos, and they lost, and for two, it was just a really shitty game.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple.
Ravens versus Titans. God, this game sucked. The Ravens did their usual, shit their pants in the second half. And it looked like the Titans were going to make a comeback until Tannehill got hurt. Look, for as much shit as I give him, with Mailman out, Tannehill is easily the best quarterback on that roster, considering Malik Willis is the only other quarterback on that roster. This might be the last time he does start. For the Ravens, concern is very much needed. I mean, how'd you almost lose to the fucking Titans? God, Ritter is just horrible. This game was just really fucky. You know that because Kyle Pitts actually caught a fucking touchdown and the Falcons didn't have 50-plus carries. Fortunately, this meant Desmond Ritter threw the ball more, and he threw 3 interceptions, and it's just disappointing seeing how bad he's playing right now, considering how well the defense and run game is doing. I think it's about time that you sit him and let Heineke cook. Really, I think get this passing attack to have a pulse when he's not getting absolutely carried by some of the best young weapons in the damn league. Imagine Mac Jones on that roster. And I hate Mac Jones. Bengals versus Seahawks. Bengals are back! Because I really underestimated how bad the calf injury was. But I think it's pretty justified considering they let Burrow play. Zach Taylor's such an idiot. This was a relatively uneventful game between two really good teams that just went back and forth the entire time. Just peak football, good defense, but enough offensive explosion to where I didn't have crippling depression by the lack of offense. Talking about you, Patriots. Both these teams were equally matched. They had a duel. The downfall of the Seahawks were bad interceptions as Geno threw 2 of them. A huge win for the Bengals as they look to turn around their season. And yeah, they're probably going to make the playoffs now. Colts versus Jaguars. Colts may have lost Richardson to IR, and they may have thrown 3 picks, but it was Gardner fucking Minshew throwing those 3 picks. So it was still pretty awesome. Lawrence got hurt, which should be concerning for the Jags, but the run defense was dominant like it has been the whole year. Now it's time for the bad part. Richardson is considering season-ending shoulder surgery, which would absolutely suck for the Colts. All I have to say is I hope they get Marvin Harrison Jr. because that would be absolutely awesome. I mean, the bloodlines is what lives on in the NFL, isn't it? Dolphins versus Panthers. Jesus, the Panthers suck. Like, yeah, the Patriots are probably worse, but at least we have a first-round pick to tank with. Like, despite being up 14-0, the Dolphins never were really in any danger. I mean, Panthers had a 14-point lead, and there was never a time in the entire game where I was like, oh yeah, they're going to lose. I mean, Tyreek Hill got hurt and still ran for an extra 20 damn yards while he was going to the sideline. Honestly, just what a Chad. Panthers are horrible, and they can't even tank for Marvin Harrison Jr. because, like I said, they have no first-round pick. Maybe they don't need him, considering Adam fucking Thielen is good now. Like, I have him on my fantasy team, so I'm not complaining, but what the hell? Vikings versus Bears. This game sucked. Both teams suck. Fields is hurt, and I don't want to cover this shitty-ass game. Neither of these teams are doing anything this year, and it was just sad. 49ers versus Browns. Wait, the Niners lost? Browns' offense was horrendous. P.J. Walker started the game in fucking 2023. Now Debo and CMC are both hurt, so it begins, San Fran, doesn't it? This is a really bad... This is really the first bad game Purdy ever had. Unless you're a freak and consider the NFC Championship game on him. And if you are, you really need help. But, I mean, he was able to get his team into a very manageable field goal range, but Moody just missed his second kick of the day. Good statement win for the Browns, but outside of all the injuries, I wouldn't be too worried for the 49ers, as being on the other side of the country is always going to be hard, especially when you're playing such an elite defense. Saints versus Texans. Another boring game in which we saw the Saints fell miserably on offense. Unfortunately, CJ Stroud did end up throwing his first interception. The Texans are still able to hold firm to the end of the game and win. Okay, Texans, so now all you have to do is trade for Davante Adams to make it to the playoffs. I'm only half joking. That would be pretty cool. And for the Saints, I was rooting against you. I like Derek Carr a lot. I like Chris Olave. I like your whole team. But after last week, I needed you guys to lose, just for my mental health. Patriots versus Raiders. But how absolutely dreadful this game was. It was better than the last couple of them. Also, shout out to Devontae Parker for dropping this pass and keeping the tank alive. What an absolute legend. Can't believe that we lost to Josh McDaniels and Brian fucking Hoyer in 2023. But like I said, the tank still continues. For the Raiders, just trade away Davante Adams when you can get stuff for him. You guys aren't going anywhere this year. Lions versus Buccaneers. The Motor City Kitties are here to stay, baby. They had an elite defense and a good offense, even with a third-string running back. Baker played horrendously and apparently is hurt now. I'm honestly surprised just how unbelievably good the Lions' defense has been, especially on the rushing side. After missing a game, Amon-Ra made his presence known by having 12 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown. Jesus Christ. Thank God I had him in fantasy this week. It's like the Bucs didn't even have him as part of their defensive game plan. It was just horrendous. Either that or it was just that damn good. The Bucs offense looked horrendous, but they've been okay. And like I said, the defense is so good, it's going to drag them to 6-11 no matter how bad the offense is. Cardinals versus Rams. Jeez, Cooper Kupp is so good. What I'd do for our team to have for the Patriots to have even a receiver on 70% of the level as Cooper Kupp. Even with the god that is Puka Nacua, Kupp is still being great. No matter how much you do, he's always going to drop 100 yards on you and a touchdown on your sorry ass. And despite the fight they have been putting up, the Cardinals aren't that good. Probably end up being the best 4-win team in NFL history. And I'll respect them for that. Kyren Williams just ran all over them in the second half, and it was insane. And the Rams might actually bullshit their way to a playoff appearance, which would be really funny. I'm not going to even lie. But they're going to have a lot of tests, especially against Pittsburgh next week, because they have a really good defense and they're coming off of a bye week. Jets versus Eagles. How? How did you lose, Philly? I mean, genuinely, the Jets were without Sauce Gardner, and it's the fucking Jets. Just how? Zach Wilson played fine. Didn't lose the game, unlike Jalen Hurts, who absolutely threw the game by throwing 3 picks. Just an ugly game. It's actually rooting for the Jets, because I do like Zach Wilson and his being good at football arc. And also, it does indeed help the Patriots tank, and at this point, that's all I can root for anymore. Eagles were flirting with losing the whole year, and the Jets pushed the knife and made sure they twisted it in this game. I'm actually really impressed by how the Jets are playing, and though I think trading for Kirk Cousins would be good, I don't know how much they need to, as Zach has been improving week in and week out. Giants versus Bills. This game was horrendous. I mean, I just couldn't handle watching this, so I didn't. I fell asleep after in the middle of the first quarter. Saw the Bills almost lost, laughed, and went on with my day in the morning. But I looked at the stats, and yeah, the Giants are horrible. Tyrod Taylor, I mean, he didn't play as bad as I thought he would. He played kind of similar to how Danny Dimes played, which, should be really concerning if you're the Giants, because, spoiler alert, Danny Dimes played horrible. And honestly, I think there's some movement to be made that you should start taking for Caleb Williams, even with the huge contract you gave him. But yeah, we're going to have to see in the future if they're even able to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, considering just how damn good that defense is. Chargers versus Cowboys. Okay, I'm going to give Dak some respect. He carried the team to the win and put his body on the line. This was overall just an ugly primetime game. But most games this week in general have just been pretty bad. Cowboys' defense is absolutely elite, and while the Chargers' defense held for a bit, they eventually fell flat to the might of the Cowboys' offense. Fortunately for the Chargers, what lost them was two failed fourth down calls, which, although they weren't the wrong calls at the time, they still suck seeing the win slip away from you like that. Herbert's broken fingers probably meaning a lot. Who would have expected? Just overall, a horrible game, which caps off a horrible week of football.